Hi, and welcome to another episode of Mothership Gear. Today we have our very own Spencer Riley Alfonso, and we are here to talk about his bass.
Yeah, so this bass is the Epiphone SG 2005, I believe, or 2002. I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of hard to track down the exact year, but I think it's a 2005 because it's SJ0506. If you know what that means, let us know in the comments. But yeah, we were thinking about what episode we should do next, and I've been recording this, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did you come across this bass?
So your dad gave it to me. I think in 2019, so in 2018, I bought back a guitar I had as a kid. It was a SG Goth, and it was like a black, it basically looks like this, but satin, and it has like I think it has a cross right here. And it's a guitar from a similar year. And so your dad fixed the input jack on it and put new knobs on it and did like some light moderations to it. And then I believe he bought another guitar on Craigslist with this and kept that guitar and then gave me this one.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Do you know which guitar he bought?
No,
I think this was extra.
Cannot keep up with how many guitars he purchases on Craigslist. What year did he give this
2019.
to you? Oh, okay.
So yeah, we should ask him, but maybe it was like the 335 or something.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been really excited to have this because I love my SG. And for some reason, I like Epiphones. They've just always been in my life more than Gibsons have. And so, of course, I'll take a Gibson. But I'm happy to have the Epiphones because they're the type of guitars you don't have to stress too much about if it's lying around the studio while you're recording. Because my band as kids, we were the band that banged up a lot of our instruments, and I'm trying to get better about that. But when you're recording and creativity strikes, this is the one that you want to demo with, because if you need to put it down really quick and pick up your guitar, it's not the biggest thing to stress about because it's the solid body guitar, the SG solid guitar.
What kind of songs come out of that bass? What makes you pick it up versus the Gibson?
Well, it's really plucky. Yeah, so like if you had a Gibson SG, it would sound very similar to this SG bass. I guess it's called the EB-0, but yeah, it's got a mudbucker, which is basically a offensive term for this pickup.
It does sound offensive.
Yeah, because people think it sounds muddy. So I'll play it real quick, but. So it's just a, let's see exactly what is it called. It's called a sidewinder humbucker. And yeah, so it's wound from the side. And I like it because it has this big old case in front of it. So you don't hear it as you're tapping, on my jazz bass. If I'm grinding into the bass with the guitar pick, you'll sometimes hear the clicks of the pick hitting the pickup. So the songs that come out of it are more, really like you're driving into the pickup pretty hard. So like this actually isn't the bass I used. I used a MIDI bass, but it reminds me of the track Snakes that I wrote, which is like it just sounds like that sound. So in my head canon and the lore in my head, this is the bass I would have used to record that. But I think I got this like right after.
Okay. So are there any bass heroes that you're conjuring when you're playing this?
Ooh, when I started playing bass, I mean, my friend Brandon Burr basically told me like, put flat wounds on your bass. And those flat wounds sound like this, which is really dead. But these are the original strings, and Brandon was actually over, and I was asking him, like, are these flat rounds? He's like, no, these are round wounds that are so gross and so old that they sound like flat wounds. So when he taught me about that, like, dead, punchy sound, I don't know who I was thinking of because, like, Make It Right is like... Well, how's it go? Oh, I think it's... So I've just always been doing that style, and I discovered Tame Impala after, and it's like the... that sound.
Oh, yeah.
He does it too, and maybe it's like a drummer thing. It's like you use the bass as like a medium between the guitars and the drums, which I think everybody does, but it's like as drummers, I think we like to hear the bass more. And so the thicker, punchier sound, I'm sure there's lots of bass players I've been inspired by after coming up with some of these songs, but like I'm always, when I'm imitating, it's more of like a John Paul Jones thing with the fingers, like, and you could do that with this, which is cool too. But when I'm using my pick, it's just trying to do what I usually like to have on an album, which is some kind of bass riff that people can remember. So yeah, the latest one is really simple. It was just like a challenge to, I'm always trying to defend this bass, like make it so people hear it, because it's the mudbucker. I just think it has an ominous tone to it.
Yeah.
And because it's just one pickup, there's like, you don't have to worry about it. You just play, and like you're going to try to get the best sound you can get out of it. And you end up coming up with some pretty creative stuff. So
was this the bass, the main workhorse bass for the TVC record?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's only like one track where I use the other jazz bass that I have. So this, on the TVC record coming out, this is the main bass. On the Riley and the Roxies record, it's going to go back and forth between this. But yeah, so it's inspired a lot of songs, because I'll put on the Rat. So it'll be like... You just try to challenge yourself to write something when you have drums. And it's nice because when you're writing, if you don't have a guitar or you don't want to switch, this will get close to a guitar. So it kind of does both. And so then later on the album, you might want to be more nuanced and get the bass to be rounder or sit better in the mix. And maybe you'll have to re-record it. But for the initial idea, I think it gets the point across.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that it kind of sounds like a guitar, because it also looks like a guitar. From here, I wouldn't be able to know that it's a bass, really, except for the four. Yeah,
I didn't know it was considered a short scale, but I think it's a short scale bass.
Yeah,
so it's 30 inches.
It looks like a guitar.
Yeah, so the scale on it is 30.5 inches, and it's mahogany. They call it the bolt-on neck with slim taper D profile, rosewood fingerboard with dot inlays. So yeah, it's pretty light, which is nice too. I think that's probably another reason why I like it, but it's not like too light. Some guitars and basses I think can be too light. So yeah, it does what I need it to do, I think.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's got a cool sound. I
think I might have written Holy Roller on this. Do you remember? I think Holy Roller is like that. So there's another song where like that came out of this bass,
that sounds just like the record.
Yeah, so it's very recordable. It's just very dead.
It's cool that you're already getting a great sound going into the DAW.
Yeah, exactly. You could play this unplugged. And that's the thing I've noticed with Mothership Gear is when you play a guitar unplugged, you really hear the qualities, and you can hear stuff like, oh, it's got a really scooped sound, meaning like the EQ pulls out the mids, or this one sounds really flat or really dead or really bright, really shiny. And I like practicing with electric guitars not plugged in, so that way I can like maximize the natural tone of it. And then when I plug it in, it's like, okay, how would I elevate that sound so more people can hear what I hear when it's unplugged? So in this case, we're running it through the Ready parallel to a guitar amp. And then we have like, I think I have an analog chorus on it right now. So this is no chorus. It's really subtle. And then, you know, I have a Dynacomp on it to add some compression. So this is without compression. So it's a little more broken up in that like the notes aren't glued together. With the compression, it'll glue it together. And you get that nice sustain. It kind of reminds me of Zach Esposito's Guild. He has that 1970s, it's very like watery.
I was gonna say, it almost reminds me of Leonard Cohen's voice, of how gritty and, I don't know, low it is.
Yeah.
It's a bass, but...
Yeah, but it does sound low. Like some basses are really bright, you know, like they're meant to be heard. This bass is, at best, you're going to get like a mid-rangey tone out of it.
Yeah.
It's not a bright bass. So yeah, that's the EB-0.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Spencer, for regaling us with the EB-0.
The mudbucker.
Oh.
Yeah.
This has been Mothership Gear. Thank you for hanging out with us. You can please like and subscribe, and visit our website at ildefonso.co, and you can follow us on Instagram at Ildefonso Inc. Thank you so much.